Robots are some of the most dangerous beings in existence.
And some of the quickest things to be advancing in our society. And these two warriors are a prime example.
Like Shadow the Hedgehog, Joe Robotnik's last chance at saving humanity.
And Omega, Dr. Rel's prime warrior for the Elf Wars.
I'm Domanos in the Aqua, and we welcome you into the realm of gods. Shadow the Hedgehog was Dr. Joe Robotnik's final chance of saving his granddaughter Maria's diseases, and the two of them would grow up together. But then Project Shadow was shut down, Maria was gunned down.
Holy fucking shit, this is supposed to be a kid's game?
Listen, I'm just saying, if Maria isn't shot in the third Sonic movie, we riot.
So Shadow was sent to Earth thanks to Maria, but was put into stasis for 50 years, until he was found by Dr. Ivo Robotnik, also known as Dr. Eggman. And he wished to destroy humanity for what they did to Maria.
Until Sonic and Rouge convinced Shadow that Maria wouldn't have wanted mass genocide.
And so Shadow helped Sonic stop the Ark from crashing on Earth.
The version of Shadow we are using today is from the Archie comics. And while that may not seem like it would change much, you gotta remember that these are the comics that had Knuckles' dad microwaved him as a baby and gave Charmy the brain damage, so we are in for a treat here.
Shadow has done some crazy stuff in the Archie comics, like the time he was able to briefly overpower Enerjack, who was capable of fighting Supersonic and Hyper Knuckles, putting him around multiversal level.
Shadow's speed is nothing to laugh at whatsoever, as Shadow on multiple occasions is able to keep up and beat Sonic in speed, which has been stated on multiple occasions is immeasurable.
Holy shit, how do we even calc that?
If you think that's crazy, then listen to this. If Shadow wants to go even faster, he can get on his bike.
Wait, why does he need a bike?
Somebody here hasn't played any of the Sonic and All-Star racing games. He also just really likes his bike.
That doesn't really answer my question, but okay, sure. Shadow has an arrangement of chaos powers, like Control, which allows Shadow to teleport or freeze time for a few moments, Chaos Spear, which is just a spear of energy, and Chaos Blast, which is a huge energy blast.
Shadow can also create a force field and has regeneration that heals all the damage he's taken, although it's very slow, memory manipulation, reality warping, and is immune to mind manipulation and the extreme code.
After saving the Ark from the Bio Lizard, Shadow would lose his memory from the fall to Earth, leading to one good game and two pretty meh games.
Nope.
What?
That's not how it goes.
No, I'm pretty sure that's how it goes.
That's how the games take place. In the Archie comics, Sonic and Shadow go into Shadow's mind and relearn all of his history by Maria and Joe Robotnik.
What the fuck even is the Archie comics, man?
I don't know, man. Anyway, if Shadow needs a boost in power, he can take off his inhibitor rings. Shadow can get a huge boost to his power and speed. However, it tires him out very quickly.
And if Shadow has one Chaos Emerald, he's able to travel between an infinite number of universes, like Megaman's.
Wait a second. If Shadow can travel to Megaman's universe, couldn't he just travel there, kill Dr. Wily, meaning Zero would never be made?
This is going into fanfiction territory, and you never want to go into fanfiction territory.
I guess that's true. Too much porn. Anyway, if Shadow gets to all 7 Chaos Emeralds, Shadow can become Piss Shadow.
I believe the technical term is Super Shadow.
Piss Shadow sounds better.
Anyway, Super Shadow gives him a greater link to the Chaos Force, which allows him to freely use nearly all levels of Chaos Force.
In Super Form, it allows Shadow to reality warp, where he can reshape reality in accordance to his desires and thoughts. Anyway, Shadow should also become intangible while in the Super Form.
Shadow is also unable to take any damage while in his super form, as shown when Shadow and Sonic use it and take hits from some incredibly powerful forms.
However, Super Forms do have a limit, and if too much of their power is used during a fight, they can tire out much quicker, as we've seen by Sonic.
Have you guys ever played Sonic 06? Trick question, none of us have.
I have.
You should kill yourself now.
Okay, I'll keep myself safe.
Did you even hear what I said? Okay, never mind. All you need to know is that the events of 06 are canon in the Archie universe, meaning Shadow still fought Solaris, who is immortal and was able to change the fabric of reality.
Now you may think that Shadow being the ultimate life form means he has no weaknesses, and you couldn't be more wrong, you stupid fuck!
Hey, no insulting the audience. That's my job. But yes, Shadow does have weaknesses, like overloading his inhibitor rings, or the fact that his super form will leave him worn out. In fact, that's originally how he lost his memory.
Shadow is also a very stubborn idiot who would refuse help or not even listen to his allies on multiple occasions.
Overall, Shadow the Hedgehog would ultimately become an ally of good and fight against the forces of evil, while keeping Maria's promise. And really, when you have someone as powerful as Shadow, it's good that he's on our side.
Goodbye forever, Shadow the Hedgehog.
The year was 21XX. The being known as Sigma was just defeated by X, Zero, Axel, and the Mother Elf.
And the legendary and hot Maverick known as Zero was sealed away due to the virus within him. The hope was that it could be reverse engineered to create a cure. However, a man known as Dr. Wheel was unsatisfied with the ending of the Maverick Wars and considered the surviving Reploids to be a threat due to their free will.
Wait, this Dr. Whale looks like Isaac, who looks like Sergius, who looks very similar to Dr. Wily. Dormanos, you're a nerd. Give me an example.
I'm afraid there's not really much to go on. There's not enough real information out there to confirm that any of these characters are related to Dr. Wily. I mean, besides Sergius, and still have these schematics of Zero. I'm not a fucking nerd.
So, Project Elpis began, a plan to not only subjugate all Reploids with a perfect ruler of his own creation, but make himself king of the world. Omega is the final fruit of these efforts, a malicious being with a god complex that was absolutely loyal to Whale's every command, and possessed the full power of the legendary Reploid Zero.
Omega slaughtered all of Wild's enemies with glee, requiring the full might of the forces of Neo Arcadia to bring him down. Then he was ejected into space and forgotten for 100 years.
Wait, are you saying Omega was ejected?
No, don't say it, don't think it.
Among Us! Now, it's fair to say we can scale Omega to 0 from the X games, since not only is it still his body and he should be capable of the same things, but we will also be scaling him to Ale from the Megaman ZX games.
This is because you can get a biometal of Omega that is capable of all of the same abilities. Omega's main weapon is the Z-Saber, a weapon so powerful he cuts Mavericks into pieces. And with the correct combo, Zero can one-shot any boss in the game.
Other weapons include the Z-Buster, the V-Hanger, the T-Breaker, the E-Blade, the Soul Saber, the Z-Uchihachi.
It's also safe to assume that Omega would be able to use all of Zero's techniques, which include the Ryu Engine and the Hirut Suzan, which are upwards, downwards, fire, and ice slashes.
Other important ones include the Korra, which sends down beams of light from above, the Darkhold, which can freeze time for a short period of time, the Jiaoso, which summons an electric flame tornado, and the Shoryuken.
Omega is faster than light thanks to scaling to Zero and X, who have outran black holes, and he's shown on multiple occasions to keep up with Zero.
Omega at his weakest point was able to fight X, Zero, and Axel during the Outpost. X at his peak was able to defeat Luminate, who destroyed a star. And as for durability, Omega is around solar level, being able to take it from Luminate and create black holes with himself at the focal point. Omega also has gravity and explosion manipulation. He can resist time stop, duplicate himself, and cloning on his enemies with a homing attack.
Omega would eventually return when his pod crashed into the tundra, and was retrieved by Dr. Whale 100 years later, causing the new Zero no end of trouble.
Omega and Wild's new goal was to obtain the Mother Elf, a cyber elf that grants the user immeasurable power, and if the Mother battles against the resistance, Omega will retrieve its full might.
Now with the power of the Mother Elf, Omega can become Piss Omega!
Not cool, Aqua.
But it's fine when you do it?
Rule number 1 of comedy, Aqua: never repeat a joke. Ever. Anyway, the Mother Elf amplifies all of Omega's feats and abilities and can use anything he gets his hands on.
It grants the user the ability to paralyze and reduce the stamina of her enemies, can turn any Reploid into more combat-oriented ones, strong enough to challenge Zero, has soul manipulation, and was able to possess every Reploid on the planet. Oh, did I mention that it can slow down time also?
And while X had the Mother Elf, he was able to eradicate Sigma's soul, which removed the Maverick virus from existence, killing literally the most unkillable boss in gaming.
Are we nearly done?
Nope, we still got 3 more forms to go through.
What?
Meet Fusion Omega. Don't worry, this won't be quick. It ups all of Omega's stats by a bit and gives him access to lasers that follow his enemies, and my personal favourite name ever, the Binding Ball, which summons a red spear which will allow and trap his end target. If it hits you, it will drag you back to him.
And finally, True Form Omega. This form shrinks down Omega to the size of Zero. His most powerful move in this form is the move known as Rambu, where he will lunge at his enemy before unleashing a 7-hit combo that is powerful enough to defeat Zero instantly if the entire chain connects. Even if you jump out of the way, he'll simply make a very fast turn to catch them.
Even though Omega may seem like an immortal hog god, he's not, and he has weaknesses like any man. For example, If Omega gets too close to death during a fight and no one else knows the lives left, she will leave Omega.
Omega also isn't the most intelligent being. In combat, he's a genius, but he listens to every one of Dr. Royal's commands, basically being a lapdog to him, never giving anything he says a second thought.
But still, Omega would eventually fall in battle to X, the Four Guardians, and Zero, realizing that he may be the true Zero in body, but not in mind. Still, Omega is a murderous weapon that you never want to fight in battle, and if you do, run.
Your reign of terror ends today. Resistance.
I am the Messiah.
That's a Chaos Emerald. That must be what they're after. I guess it's time. Chaos Spear. I'm the coolest.
And the winner is Archie Shadow. Yeah, this was...
No, this isn't happening. There's no reason for me to go on. What am I fighting for?
Well, while this fight may have seemed like a stomp, there was still a lot to consider. You are an absolute baby.
This fight was a lot more interesting than it looked.
Both Shadow and Omega had many counters to each other's abilities, like freezing time and effects done to the mind.
So it comes down to stats, and let's get the easy one out of the way. Omega being scaled to a black hole would put its speed at around light speed, which is very impressive. But Shadow speed being immeasurable makes it practically impossible for Omega to outspeed Archie Shadow.
Even if Omega were to slow down time, Archie Shadow would still be way too fast for Omega to hit.
And as much as this hurts to say, Omega was fucked when Super Shadow comes out, since Shadow was unable to take damage, meaning that he could possibly kill Omega 10 times in quick succession.
Shadow also has an intelligence advantage, as without commands, Omega has shown next to no intelligence on his own, while Shadow has and could easily counter most of Omega's own abilities and techniques with his own intelligence.
You also need to remember that Omega is not Zero. He is in body and power, but he isn't in mind. And Zero was a genius fighter, being able to be some of the strongest warriors like X, Sigma, and even Omega himself. But he mostly wins these fights due to his power and his mind. And Omega doesn't have Zero's genius mind.
Omega was a dangerous foe, but Shadow's speed, intelligence, and superform puts him on top.
The winner is Archie Shadow.
Now, Shadow! Chaos control!
Maria, this is what you wanted, right? This is my promise I made to you.